He thought he could sleep with my wife and go back to his cushy life like nothing happened. I didn't just get revenge. I burned his world to the ground. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, if you've ever wanted to look a cheater, a liar, a manipulator in the face and say, you mess with the wrong person, then buckle up, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for one of the most deliciously destructive revenge stories you'll hear today. It started quietly, subtle shifts, unspoken things. Back in the early 2000s, my wife and I were your typical suburban couple. 2 kids, ages 4 and 6, the kind of chaos that keeps your hands full and your mind distracted. She worked part-time. I worked full-time and then some. We were supposed to be building a life together, but something felt off. It began with the kids. Out of the blue, they kept talking about Grandma's house. A lot. At first, I chalked it up to regular visits. Maybe she was dropping them off with her parents more often to get some rest. Totally reasonable, right? But when it became 2 to 3 times a week, and her parents lived 90 minutes away, something didn't add up. Why drive 3 hours round trip just for daycare? So I asked her, calmly, lovingly, and she lied. Badly. You ever watch someone lie to your face, and you just know they're hiding something? That was her. The nervous-eyed dart. The pause. The fake innocence. That was the first time I felt it in my gut. She's cheating on me. But I needed proof. So I started small. Every day before she left, I jotted down the odometer reading on her car. Nothing flashy. Just pen and paper. By the end of the week, she'd clocked an extra 400 miles. Where was she going? Then came the moment that cracked the lie wide open. One day, she left a sticky note by the computer. An AOL password. Her own careless mistake. I hesitated. And then I logged in. The screen loaded slowly. And there they were. Emails. Pages of them. Conversations with her college best friend. And just like that, everything shattered. She wasn't just cheating. She was bragging about it. Laughing about how good it felt to rekindle things with an old flame from high school. Even worse, she mocked the guy's wife, calling her fat and worn out after having kids. My hands were shaking as I printed out the emails. My heart was pounding in my ears. The pain was raw, but underneath that pain, something else started to rise. Resolve. This wasn't just betrayal. It was contempt. She didn't just step outside our marriage. She did it with cruelty, and I wasn't going to let it slide. Enter Ron. A friend of mine, a retired cop, gave me Ron's number. Ex-cop turned private investigator, he said. Best in the business. I handed Ron the emails, the mileage logs, the timeline, every breadcrumb I had. Within a week, he came back with a dossier of devastation. Photos, dates, times. She'd been dropping the kids off at her parents', then sneaking off to meet her lover at a greasy motel off the highway. Same one every time. Lunch first, then sex, then pick up the kids and come home to me like nothing happened. It was like watching my life in reverse, a mirror image where everything real was rotting underneath. I knew what I had to do. I hired a lawyer. My kids were my priority. I'd lived through a messy divorce as a child, and it wrecked me. I wouldn't let that happen to them. But I wasn't done yet, because Ron didn't stop at tracking my wife. He found him, the man she was cheating with. Let's call him Bob. Bob was married, 3 kids, picture-perfect family on paper. And here's the kicker. He worked as a VP of sales at his father-in-law's company. Nepotism at its finest. Own a house. Her parents' house, in fact. It was too perfect. And I had a plan. The day my wife got served with divorce papers at her job, she had no idea it was coming. I'll never forget the voicemail she left. Tears. Screaming. How could you? But that same day, Ron paid a visit to Bob's wife. He handed her a copy of the report. Photos. Logs. Emails. All of it. He told her, I'm sorry, but you deserve to know. What she did next. Legendary. According to court documents I later dug up, she cleaned out their joint bank account that very night, took the kids, filed for divorce, told her father, the company owner, everything. Bob? Fired the next morning. then evicted, because the house was in her parents' name. All within 72 hours, this guy went from cushy suburban VP to unemployed, homeless, and alone. But it didn't stop there. Bob didn't handle it well. He showed up to the house, now his ex-wife's home, and started screaming. Her brother stepped in, fists flew, and Bob walked away with a broken nose and a restraining order. Then came the police reports, the stalking charges, even a brief stint in jail. His entire life spiraled out of control, like watching a man drown in slow motion, a storm of his own making. And I didn't lift a finger. I just watched the collapse from afar. I wish I could say that I walked away from the whole thing without scars, but that's not true. Divorce leaves marks. So does betrayal. But I kept it clean for the kids. Never badmouthed their mom. Never brought up the affair. We co-parented. Cordially. Civilly. Now that the kids are grown, I haven't spoken to her in years. No hatred. No anger. Just distance. As for Bob, he vanished. No Facebook. No LinkedIn. No trace. Last I heard, he left the state. His ex-wife? She's doing just fine. Took over her dad's company after he retired. Karma really is undefeated. Betrayal hurts. It cuts deep. But sometimes justice doesn't come from confrontation. Sometimes it comes quietly, like a storm building on the horizon. And when it finally hits, it wipes the slate clean for everyone who deserved it. If that story gave you chills, hit that like button and share this video with someone who believes in karma. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or experienced? Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories that prove sometimes the best revenge is letting people destroy themselves.